Welcome back to our series where we are revisiting the invention of photography and the stories of the people who helped make things happen. As this is part 7 of the series, if you missed the first episodes, you may want to pause this video and start from part 1. In this episode, a kitchen apron leads to a novel photographic medium. 5 years after the launch of photography, some things were happening that would have a profound effect on the evolution of the medium. Having technically lost the photography race to the French, Fox Talbot continued to move forward with his calotype process. He may have lost the race, but processes that used negatives would eventually supplant the one-off positive daguerreotype images. In June 1844, Fox Talbot commercially published a book, The Pencil of Nature, which, for the first time, contained photographs rather than etchings or sketches. There were 24 photographic prints that were included in the book, and each of them were hand-pasted into the book. Each image in the book was chosen in order to demonstrate a wide variety of potential applications for photography. There was only one image with a person in it because of the long exposure times that were required. It was heralded as one of the greatest milestones in book publishing since the invention of the Gutenberg press 400 years earlier. A German-speaking Swiss chemist, Christian Schoebeen, accidentally discovers nitrocellulose, which is also known as gun cotton. You're going to love this story. After his wife expressly forbade him from experimenting in the kitchen, one day when she was away, he spilled a mixture of sulfuric and nitric acids. He used his wife's apron to wipe it up and then hung it up to dry, over the stove nonetheless. The cotton in the apron spontaneously ignited and burned so quickly that there was no smoke, and the apron disappeared as if by magic. As it turned out, this discovery was 4 times more powerful than gunpowder and did not produce smoke like gunpowder did. One of the side benefits of this invention was that the resulting nitrocellulose was a great continuous film former, so much so that it is still in use in printing and other surface coating industries today. The first attempts to manufacture this material was fraught with perils, and there was plenty of destruction and even deaths. In order for it to be made safe, it needs to be dampened by water and other organic solvents like ethanol, isopropanol, and ethyl acetate. A French polymath, Louis Menard, made contributions to the fields of chemistry, literature, philosophy, history, and art. He was also a reformist who, at one point in 1848, was sentenced to prison, but successfully escaped to London and remained there for 4 years. Prior to this, in 1846, Menard and his assistants, Flores de Mente, discovered that gun cotton could be dissolved in ether, specifically ethoxyethane. When ethanol was used as a diluent, the cellulose nitrate turned into a clear gelatinous liquid that would eventually discolor over time. This mixture is called collodion, and it had medical uses as a flexible surgical dressing. The non-flexible version was used in theater makeup. It would be a few years more before collodion was used for photographic purposes. A cousin of Nicephore Niepce, as well as a French army lieutenant, Abel Nice de Saint-Victor, began experimenting with albumin, or egg whites, on glass negatives. Albumin, water, and potassium iodide were frothed together, filtered, and then applied to glass. The excess was drained at the corner, and the plate was then placed on a level surface and allowed to dry. When dry, the plate was dipped in silver nitrate, acetic acid solution, and was then ready to be exposed while still moist. The plate was soaked in gallic acid, found in tea, for 20 minutes, and then the image was fixed with sodium thiosulfate. Ground glass was sometimes used, so the albumin would have to be better adhesion to the glass. De Saint-Victor also advanced Niepce's heliography into heliogravure in 1857. 35 years before the actual discovery of radioactivity, de Saint-Victor used uranium salts to expose negatives in the dark. He noticed that, even in complete darkness, certain salts could expose photographic emotions. His findings were also confirmed by photographers in Germany, England, and France. Louis Blanchard Evrard started out as a cloth merchant in Lille, France. Considered to be a polymath, he had many interests and had studied chemistry, which would certainly be an asset to him. As an artist, he also painted miniatures on porcelain. After the introduction of photography, Blanchard Evrard developed an interest in the medium, but through a student of Fox Talbot, he learned about the calotype process. Through his business acumen, he recognized the potential for mass production and distribution of photographic prints. He became a rather skilled photographer, and he also developed some expertise in printing images, as well as he began printing photographs of other photographers. After experimenting with the printing process, he came up with a method of bathing the photographic paper in solutions of potassium iodide and silver nitrate rather than brushing these chemicals onto the surface of the paper. He presented his research on stabilizing the photo prints by floating them to the French Academy of Sciences in January of 1847. In doing so, he became the first French citizen to publish about the positive-negative paper printing process. He is also credited with another innovation a few years later, which we will get to shortly. Please join us next time when we get to a panoramic view, someone sets the tone, going vegetarian, and the death of a salesman, and more. We look forward to you being with us.